Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Chris. I was just going to share a couple things with you about fasting. One way to fast is you could fast for a day and just like have liquid. You could have like water. I don't. I think you should just do water. That's just what I think. You could do juice or whatever you want. You should definitely talk to a physician first before you go into any kind of fast. I'm just telling you my story. So in the past, I've had a hard time falling asleep. Okay, the desire has been there, to do multiple day fast. And so recently, what I did was, I exercised really hard. excuse me, on day one, and then I also exercised on day two, not as hard just because I didn't have as much energy, but that helped me fall asleep, and I was able to meet my goal of a 3 day fast. I actually think I could have probably went longer, but I was meeting a friend for lunch the next day, and I didn't want to like just sit in front of him. Uh, so I broke the fast. But and then I did have a couple really really hard times during it. And instead of like just laying there, I got up and I prayed really hard. I just prayed, God help me. I want this fast to hold longer than I want the food. And I'm gonna share this too with the story of Jacob and Esau. you know, Jacob gave Esau his lentils, and Jacob got the blessing. Right? He got um, he's they say he stole his birthright or whatever. But so think about this: when you're giving up your food for fasting, you are saying, "God, I'm giving up this food for more of you." More of your spirit, more of your blessing, more of your presence in my life. I'm giving up this food, right? I mean, I'm in America and I'm grateful to live here, but it's a very gluttonous nation. As far as like food, there's food everywhere. Um, so it can be hard, but when you press into God and pray, fast and pray and take extra time to pray and read your Bible, God can move through that. So my goal is to do a much longer fast than 3 days. I want to like get to 7 or maybe 21 just on water. And I mean, I did have some coffee, a couple cups of coffee, no sugar, just like a splash of milk. And then that was it. And another thing I did was I kept jugs of water, like a gallon of water, with me at all times. So when I got hungry, I would just drink a lot of water. And I was taking some salt and a multivitamin each day. What I was going to tell you was what you're doing two things. You're cleaning out your spirit, and then you're also cleaning out your body. Your body starts to repair itself. And when I came off the fast, I felt really good. I had like peanut butter and oat clusters and dates and protein shake. Um, I didn't have like any heavy food like a hamburger and fries or a pizza or anything like that. So you have to like kind of slowly wake up your digestive system, because your digestive system like kind of shuts down. Excuse me. You might also get a headache, during your fast, but that a lot of that's just your body's like burning off impurities, and they call it autophagy, where your proteins in your body begin to repair themselves. You're giving your gut a rest. Um, they say there's like all kinds of stuff in there. Think of how long you've been alive, and it just starts cleaning itself. And the water, water purifies, so water's purifying you. And but I really want to encourage you guys to look into fasting. I mean, I've been a Christian for 25 years, and I barely ever hear it from the pulpit. Maybe I've heard it like 10 times, maybe 15. But Jesus said, when you pray, when you give, and when you fast. He didn't say if you pray, if you give, and if you fast. And another thing, If you look at the book of Daniel, now Daniel did a different kind of fast. Daniel did um, he did like, natural food only, like fruits and vegetables and stuff that is grown from the ground, nothing, you know, sweet or sugar or meat or cheese or wine or anything like that. But the longer you fast, you don't know what how God's going to bless you, because Daniel did have visions, but he fasted for 21 days on a Daniel fast, and I think the other guys only did 10. So the longer you fast, and again, this is up to you and how God's leading you. And definitely, if you're going to do a really long fast, you should seek a physician, before you go into a fast, because I'm just telling you my story and these are my thoughts. But Jesus fasted 40 days, and after he fasted 40 days, he did miracles. Paul fasted 40 days. Paul did miracles. Peter, I think there's a scripture that says, like, even the garments, like Peter's garments or something, were doing miracles by touching people just as clothes. So, I don't know if that was, because he fasted or not, but the Bible also says that those kind, referring to demons, can only come out by prayer and fasting. So there must be a hierarchy of demons, and, some might be more stubborn than others, but what you can do is starve them out. And there's a book called The Fasting Prayer by Franklin Hall. He also has one called Atomic Power with Fasting and Prayer. I highly recommend getting those books. There's another one called The Chosen Fast. That's a different author. And then Jensen Franklin has one called Fasting. They're all great books. I like to read them, when I fast, because it encourages me to keep going. There's stories of people that fasted 10, 21, 40 days, and what God did in their life. It also, they say, it reverses aging. I've seen stuff on the internet where it says, after 7 days of a water fast, like, your probability of having cancer is like super low. I also saw a story that some guy had like stage 4 cancer, and they told him he was going to live for a couple months, and he fasted like 20. I think he fasted 20 days, and then he fasted like 44 days or something. I can't remember exactly, but and his cancer was gone. Um, and like another thing I've read in these books is, like, after 3 days of fasting, your hunger leaves you, like you're no longer hungry. So like the hardest part of the fast to get into like a big fast is those first few days, and that's why I'm making this video. Like, if you're having a hard time falling asleep, because that in the past that has been a problem for me, is like my desire was there, but I could not fall asleep. So what I did was I just exercised really hard on day one, and then I just was drinking a lot of water. Day two, I did another exercise. I was pretty tired when I did it. I just did a bike class. I made it through after about 15 minutes. I felt totally fine. That helped me fall asleep. And I really prayed too. I said, Lord, help me to fall asleep and not eat. I want to hold this fast. Excuse me. And there was other stuff I was praying for too. Was it all answered? No. But I really did feel good when I came off the fast. Like, my body felt good. I had some incredible sleep a few nights after. I remember waking up, and I felt so good. And then another thing I was going to share with you, there's a guy named Dr. Berg. He's on YouTube. He has some great information on fasting and what happens to your body, how your body repairs itself when you fast for like 12 hours, 16, 24, etc. Like, mostly more so for like the window, the 3-day window. And there's tons of benefits to fasting, and if you think about it, so I was actually reading in this book, and they were saying that when you're hungry, you are stronger. Like, like let's say there was no food and you had to go gather your own food or hunt animals. Well, it's just like when we're fasting and not eating, we're stronger in the spirit. So um, I just want to encourage you guys to look into fasting, because the Western church, or at least in America, I mean, I've went to some really good Bible teaching churches. Like the teaching and preaching was really good. Um, but as far as like talking about fasting, I know a lot of churches do it maybe at the beginning of the year, for a couple weeks, but it's not really like a discipline. Like, you know, hey, let's do a fast for a couple days, pray together, like, like a disciple type thing. Like, hey, let's go feed the poor together. Like you take somebody with you, or you take somebody with you to share the gospel, or you take a few people. Nobody's ever done that like in my spiritual walk, as long as I've been in the church. Now, a big church-wide fast, I've been exposed to a couple times where a church I knew of was going to do, a Daniel fast for 21 days. And these are just some things, because remember, your walk with Christ is your walk with Christ. And, you know, like let's say this is praying, like these prayers get through to Jesus. Well, praying and fasting, you know, bigger mountains get cast away, through prayer and fasting. So, you know, like maybe because we're not fasting, some of our prayers aren't getting answered. I mean, I can't say that for sure, but fasting definitely can, um, move God. I actually, one of those books, I think it's called The Chosen Fast. The guy says that, when you say you're not going to eat, God knows that you're serious about, wanting your prayers answered. So, I'm sure there's somebody on your list of prayers that you're praying for, or there's something you're praying for. Maybe it's a job or somebody's salvation, or you have a loved one that's going through some trouble. So maybe try prayer and fasting for a way to have a breakthrough. And if you guys do, you can leave a comment down below, your thoughts. But I just want to share this because I think it's an unbelievable source that we have, and it really does crucify the flesh. You'll be able to feel like what your body is like lunging for. Like for example, like chocolate. I could just feel it, or coffee, or a hamburger or pizza, or and then all of a sudden, like once you get into your fast, like you're going to get into a zone, and your concentration. They say your ability to remember, you regrow brain cells. There's just like tons of benefit. So I'm excited. I'm just sharing this video because I don't think there's really a ton of information out there. I highly recommend getting those books. Franklin Hall, he's got a couple books. Atomic Power of Fasting and Prayer, and he also has charts in there too about like what happens to your body. I think he did a couple 40-day fasts. Jensen Franklin's got a good one called Fasting. I think he has a workbook with it. And then The Chosen Fast, and there's another one called 101 Reasons to Fast. So I just hope and pray you guys get more of the Spirit, more of the boldness of Christ, and just continue on, and just stay encouraged. And also, fasting lifts off the heaviness. The heaviness of being in the world. I think it says that in Isaiah. It talks about like breaking the yoke of heaviness. Well, I'd have to look it up. I don't have my Bible in front of me. I think it's like Isaiah 56. But anyways, guys, good luck to you if you do a fast. And Easter's coming up, so it's a great time of year to do it. You can leave your comments if you guys do 1 day, a 10-day, a 20-day, or just you want to give me some feedback on it. But anyways, blessings.